If you've never seen my Substack lives before, welcome. I just started doing these things. I think these also automatically upload to my Decode the Left podcast as well. Sorry guys, I'm still figuring out the technology. I'm old. This is how it goes. But I hope this isn't too disturbing to podcast listeners where you're like, what the fuck is this thing already? And I mean, maybe I would love comments on if people want this. I've been thinking about like, do I just, kind of bag the idea of doing like a specially recorded podcast? Do I just pull out my phone and talk into it about whatever I feel like talking about, and it uploads live to Substack as an exclusive over there? It goes into the podcast so people can listen to it that way. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't know. If you guys hate it, let me know. That's going to be the new policy. If you guys hate something I'm doing, because I do like to try new things, if you guys hate it, you need to tell me that you hate it. So because if a lot of you hate it, then I'm gonna be like, okay, well maybe that's not that good of an idea. And if you like new things, say you like them, because then I'm like, okay, we need to do more than that. Because you guys know me, I have a million different ideas every single day of the week. And so if I don't have feedback, I might even just bag an idea people like and move on to something else. I don't know. Anyway, if you missed Spy Stream today, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I'm saying that, it's a little weird okay, so for people who don't know what's happening, I'm saying I'm undercover at a conference. Now you're looking at me, you're like, Karlyn, obviously you're in your office. I can see your wall. How are you undercover at a conference? Well, maybe it's not proper undercover in that I didn't have to go on a plane. I didn't have to wear a disguise. I didn't have to dye my hair. I didn't have to wear a chest binder or anything like that. So I'm not undercover in person, but let me tell you what, sitting on a virtual conference with surrounded by socialists for I was on that call for 11 and a half hours today. 11 and a half hours. It feels exactly like going undercover. I talked about this a little bit on yesterday's live, and sometimes I say when I'm going into the online leftist events, like that we infiltrate them, and then if I'm going to something in person, I say it was undercover. But like this feels exactly the same as undercover to me. It does not feel different because the stress of hosting an online kind of like infiltration is kind of the same as the stress of going undercover. Because first of all, you can get caught just as easily doing this online as you can in person. Actually, I think it's probably easier to get caught doing it online. And I say that as having like I've been going inside leftist events for like 4+ years now. So I have a lot of experience at this point. I know the tricks, I know how to get around things, but learning how to infiltrate online events was a hell of a lot harder for me than learning how to go undercover. I mean, I don't know that I ever really learned how to go undercover. I just dressed up as like a leftist and went to their events and prayed to God that no one recognized me because they do know me. Like I'm actually I think more relevant on the left than I am on the right, which I think is funny. They know who I am. They try to ignore me, but they absolutely know who I am. And I know that for a fact. Anyway, so for me, actually doing the online stuff might be more stressful than doing the in-person stuff because first off, like there's an audience watching me. If I screw up undercover in person, I don't have an audience there. I just don't have to tell you guys what happened, right? But if one of my online events screws up, if one of the spy streams screw up, like I've got a disappointed audience at that point, and I don't want to disappoint people because I know that when we find these events and we have the opportunity to do these things, a lot of people really do like being able to go to the event. I mean, listen, there were people that sat there at that event all day with me today and they had fun watching it. I know that sounds weird for people who've never done spy stream before, but it is fun to watch the left when you're doing it live, especially when they're saying the craziest shit that you have ever heard someone say. And the reason I'm just so flabbergasted and I wanted to do another live tonight was because I've seen some shit. Okay. I've seen some shit. I've heard some shit. I have heard more than the average bear. I have heard enough to drive me insane from the left. My jaw hit the floor so many times today. Like, and people there, I see people in the chat that watch for the stream today, and they can confirm that there was not a single presentation that we did not get at least one clip out of. That there are I know I said this earlier. I'm sorry if you're hearing me repeat it, but I can, take my time now. Um we have at least a dozen clips and probably honestly more than that from this conference to just already. that are going to go viral on the internet. 100%. 100. There is no way in this lifetime that we are not going to have viral clips coming out of this conference. It is some of the most just yeah, Nick says he confirms. Mary says I think more than that. I think there might be more than that too, Mary, because what I want to do is I want to just like so my what I want to do, and I'm working on downloading the video from today to work on this. I already did this with the video last night. Is I want to edit like a really good highlight reel and try to get as much in it. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get the whole thing in it. And what I would really like to do is premiere it on Saturday. Now, guys, we're going to be having a very special episode of Socialism Saturday this Saturday. You have to come Saturday, 6 p.m. No excuses. I can't tell you what it is, but you're just going to have to trust me. We're going to have a very special episode of Socialism Saturday. And if I really get my shit together, we're going to have a little highlight reel of this conference that I can put out there immediately to start to tease this stuff. And I think it's one of those things where like people are going to be so shocked at what this conference is. People are going to be so shocked at what's going on, at what I have on video, and I've got all of it. I've got fucking all of it from start to finish. Well, I will have all of it after tomorrow. I wish I could tell you guys what we heard today. I can't because we still have another day of recording to do. There's still another day of this conference. And so I can't tell you what was said because like I don't want there to be any clue. Like even talking about doing this publicly is a little uncomfortable for me because listen, there are a million leftist events going on right now. One of the reasons I can get away with talking about this publicly is there is legitimately just a lot of leftist stuff going on right now. There just is. I mean, this is why there's so many spy streams. That it's end of semester at colleges and universities, therefore all the faculty are doing their presentations, all the students are doing their presentations. They try to live stream those on the internet because the parents like to watch them, but if they put the Zoom link out on the website, then I can find it and stuff like that. And so like one of the only reasons I'm even talking about the fact that I am doing like an undercover event right now is that I know that there are so many leftist events that it would be impossible to identify it just based on me saying I'm doing something right now and it's crazy. Because there's a ton of crazy shit. And sometimes you just have to make choices. I think I made a very good choice in the one that I chose to spy stream. I'm pretty proud of my decision. I think it's going to turn out well. But just think almost every single leftist topic that you can think about has been brought up at this conference in the most overt way. And we're talking high profile universities involved because of course there always are. And now if you want to see what I'm talking about, you can actually get access to it. If you just go to the post today on the Substack for members, if you're a supporting member, you have access to the replay. You can still access the link and you can watch it on demand. You can also sign up and do that if you want to do that, but like I don't know how we're ever going to top this. And again, you remember I a year and a half ago, something like that. I don't even know what month it is anymore. I went undercover at a 4-day socialism conference, and I recorded the then president of the American Library Association saying that libraries should be sites of Marxist organizing. Remember, I've heard some shit. I recorded teachers talking about how they're going to smuggle banned topics into Florida schools. I recorded people talking shit about conservative influencers and talking shit about other leftist groups and released that on the internet. I recorded people talking about violently overthrowing the federal government. I've recorded people talking about taking away your private kitchen. I've recorded countless people talking about abolishing gender, abolishing the family, saying fuck parental rights. Kids are private property under capitalism, so we got to abolish parental rights. Like I have recorded so many crazy things, and I don't know how we're ever going to top the event we're doing now. And that's kind of but you know what, but like here's the thing too is like I think that there might be something that does top it because one of the things that I saw today emphatically was that the left is getting really energized. The left is absolutely getting energized. Listen, they may have been demoralized for a couple months after Trump got elected and then took office. Okay, I think we can allow them that. It's like you have a breakup, you get depressed, but you got to get back on the wagon sometime. And the left is getting back on the wagon, and they are energized and they're organized and they love being in the opposition. Just like conservatives love being in the opposition. Conservatives are at their peak when they have no responsibility and they can just oppose everything. Guess what? Same is true of the left. It's easier to be in opposition than it is to actually lead. If you're in opposition, you don't get the blame for shit. You can say and do whatever you want. You can cause as many problems as you want, and you get no blame because you are not the one in power. So the left is back in the position where they can say and do whatever they want and muck shit up and bring out all their favorite issues, because again, conservatives don't understand this because they don't actually understand the left. The left had pretty much shut down almost all other activism before the election, other than free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. That was all the left was doing. And like this really drove me crazy because like I would try to find leftist content that wasn't Palestine because I got so effing sick of watching Palestine content, because everything the left was putting out was Palestine, Palestine, Palestine for like like, well, like I guess over a year, right? Over a year. And then Trump got elected. And then Trump started saying some of the things that he was going to do. And all of a sudden, you start seeing all the left's old core issues come back up again, where they start focusing on immigration. They start talking about attacking ICE facilities. They start talking about attacking Tesla. And by the way, I was talking about this stuff probably at least a month before they actually went out and started doing it, because and people can go back on my Substack and look, I covered all this. I said this is what the left is talking about, and lo and behold, right after that they start targeting ICE facilities. They start attacking Tesla facilities, and I told you guys they were going to do that before they did it because I saw it on their telegrams and stuff like that. Mary says, what time are we starting tomorrow? About 10:30 probably. I'll send out the credentials for tomorrow. 10:30 is my start time. I'm gonna sleep in today. Where was I going with this? Oh, the left is getting energized. And so they're trotting out all their old issues. I told you guys queer Marxism was going to make a comeback. Queer activism was going to make a comeback. Guess what? Queer activism, queer Marxism is making a comeback. All the old issues are coming out again. And I don't think the right is prepared. I really, even they were even talking about Black Lives Matter today. I haven't heard the left talk about Black Lives Matter in at least 2.5 years. Like for real. They basically tried to forget about Black Lives Matter after all the scandal with the organization, and they stopped talking about it. I even heard them talk about Black Lives Matter today. And it's getting warmer and summer's here and it's getting nicer, and they already have, by the way, we are about a week out from May Day. May Day is May 1st. May Day is the International Day of Resistance. It's like the Day of the Worker or something. And we are going to see massive, 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 massive protests on May Day. Massive protests. I infiltrated a call last night that was hosted by the National Education Association. You may have seen the clip on Twitter. I haven't put it on the Substack yet, but I will tonight. We actually recorded a sitting congresswoman last night telling 2,000 plus radical activists on a call hosted by the National Education Association and the Chicago Teachers Union, where the sitting congresswoman, Delia Ramirez, she's of Illinois' 3rd District. She actually got on this call and told the over 2,000 radical activists, you need to go confront and harass your politicians in the streets. You need to confront and harass your politicians when they're in church. You need to confront and harass your politicians when you see them getting gas. What could possibly go wrong? This was an extremely leftist call. And I have it all on video, and I'm going to post it. I already posted that clip of that congresswoman saying that on Twitter last night. Got like 30,000 views or something. How crazy is that too? Like, I actually have a video last night. I think I'm the only one that had it. I was worried other people were going to be covering this event, but I haven't seen anyone else cover it, just because there were so many people on the call. Like, I have a clip of a sitting congresswoman telling radical activists that they should be going out and harassing politicians in the street, and only got 30,000 views. See, this is the problem. People don't really care about these issues, man. People don't really care. But for better or worse, I'm obsessed with those issues. And so here we are, because I actually do care about these issues. And I think you guys care about these issues, or at least if you follow my content, you will learn to care about these issues and you will learn why this is important. And this is not libs of TikTok. This is not clickbait bullshit. This is not Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. This is not any of those clout whore, grifters on Twitter. This is not what we're doing. We are going inside real leftist events. You're seeing primary sources of the left. You don't get this stuff anywhere else. No one else is recording this thing I'm doing right now. I promise you. No one else knows this is happening. No one else is recording this. You are probably not going to see this recorded or reported rather in conservative media. But you're going to be shocked at the clips. Your jaw is going to drop when you start to see the clips. So it is what it is. Anyway, does anyone have any questions or anything? Like, please feel free to chat in. I really want to start using this feature more. I appreciate people dropping by tonight. And I said this earlier too, but I'll say it again because I'm not sure again that the recording was great earlier. One of the things that's really alarming to me about this situation, and something that's really starting to an issue I'm starting to confront. The left is massively funding people to study the right. They are studying the right like someone does a science experiment. They are picking apart the right's social media. They are analyzing all the rights groups. I'm telling you, I have it all on video. This is not theoretical. I've seen what I've seen, and you're going to be able to see it too. And it's not just this group of people at this event right now. We watched a presentation from a guy at Yale a couple weeks ago, and I put this on the Substack and I posted it publicly. We watched a presentation from a guy at Yale, a professor at Yale, and a student at Yale talk about getting funding from Yale to go undercover at Turning Point USA to spy on them, and then they report back to the most radical activist in the country. So, like, when I put this out there, because I put out videos like this, and one of the videos I put out was leftist is confused when she goes to Turning Point USA and they were nice to her or something like that, because that was true. The leftist was confused. The Yale leftist student was confused about why they were so nice to her at Turning Point USA when she was a queer black woman or something like that. And when conservatives saw that video, they said, "Oh, well, she just got treated so nicely that she obviously left the left. She obviously smartened up." But that's not what happened. It's not what happened at all. We hinge into reality here. I know that conservatives love to tell the story of like Democrat going to the Trump rally. I have some experience with this. Democrat going to the conservative event and getting treated so nicely that they left the left. Gee, where does that sound familiar? But what conservatives need to understand is that when Yale is funding leftist students to go to conservative events, they're not turning Republican. They're going back and reporting their findings to the most radical leftist activists in the country. Literally, I have it on video. It's like the left is studying the right. Who on the right, if I am on the right, and I'm not even convinced I am because I have so many disagreements with the right and I feel like I have nothing in common with them either. But I'm certainly anti-communist. I'm not on the left, I know that. What anti-communist is studying the left like I'm studying the left? I'm serious about this. Where's my funding? Where's my funding to go undercover at events? See, I have you guys for funding. That's it. Terry says you're sounding the alarm. Are people listening? I don't know if people are listening, Terry, and this is the problem. This is the problem that people are going to have to grapple with, and this is why it's so important, guys. Please support my work. I am 100% funded by you. If you don't sign up for $8 a month, $80 a year, then ain't no one funding this. But the bigger question is, why is that the case? Why? I am literally attending a conference right now of people presenting talk after talk after talk of being funded by leftist institutions to go and study the right and pick apart their social media and infiltrate their groups and go to their events. This is not just one organization. This is like they're getting funding from everywhere to do this. Where are the people doing this to them? Where are the people studying them in the way that they're studying us. We are like a fucking science experiment in a petri dish to these people. That's what this is. It's like they're looking down on us like you would look down on a fucking ant farm or something like that. And they're picking apart, like, oh, these people talk about this and these people talk about that. And then they go back and they talk to each other about it and they write papers about it. And they literally do degrees in this. Their degrees, their dissertations are in this. And then they go to work and they call themselves an extremism researcher. But they're extremists too. They just don't understand that because they're in an echo chamber and they only ever hear from people like them and they don't actually listen to people like us at all. This, by the way, is part of the reason I can get away with this. Because even though it is true that people on the left know who I am and they might be able to recognize me if they saw me in person, maybe if I wasn't wearing a disguise, but they don't actually listen to me. Like I could literally, there's another topic, but I'm just going to say it anyway. I'm doing a stream of conscious live stream right now. I could literally post probably on my Twitter account the event that I'm undercover at right now, and they still probably wouldn't find out. Or they might if some tattletale on Twitter went and proactively told them. But if no tattletale on Twitter went and actually told them, then the likelihood of this event actually listening to what I'm saying and saying, oh shit, she's actually at our event right now, it is non-existent. They do not listen to us. But they study us. They study us. And those are not the same thing. Listening to someone, accidentally did like extreme close up. Listening to someone and studying someone are not the same thing. And even though a lot of the conclusions that they're coming up with are batshit insane, crazy, they're still doing something while our side is doing nothing. And so a shitty half-assed attempt, when it's done consistently, over time, over and over and over again, showing up every day like they do, like they always do. A shitty half-assed attempt is still better than nothing. So where are the people on our side studying the left? Is it just me? Is there anyone else? I'm honestly asking. Please tell me there are other people studying the left like I'm studying the left. Please. For the love of God. Tell me that I'm not the only person doing this. Like people think that like I'm like patting myself on the back when I say I'm the only person doing this. That's not what this is. I am continually in shock that I'm the only fucking person doing this, and I'm continually pissed off that I'm the only fucking person doing this, because this is not a responsibility that I wanted. I feel like I've been delivered a calling from God that I cannot escape from, and the only reason I can't escape from it is because no one else is doing it. It's like, can I have one comrade? can I have one person that is doing this and taking this seriously? You know, they actually talked about this. They actually talked about this in their conference today. There was a group of people at this conference that was talking about how they wouldn't be able to study like the way they are studying if they didn't have a support system. I don't have a fucking support system. Well, I do. I have you guys, I guess. I have people who support my work and come to my streams and tell me not to quit when I want to cry and all this stuff. But like I don't have people I can talk to about doing this. I'm like making this up on the fly. There are people who cover the left. I'm not suggesting there's no one else that covers the left. I'm saying who is studying the left. Who is doing that type of just like hinged into reality analysis of what the left is doing. Because again, it's like when the right does this stuff, hang on, getting a notification, remind me in an hour. When the right does this stuff, they do it to drive a political narrative. So you look at it, you look at a think tank like the Heritage Foundation, right? Somebody say, "Oh, isn't the Heritage Foundation doing stuff like this?" I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe I don't really know exactly what the Heritage Foundation does, except that it kind of seems to me that the primary job of the Heritage Foundation is to drive a conservative narrative. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be. You look at a place like the Manhattan Institute, the organization that's supposed to be covering this shit, Chris Rufo, but they don't cover this shit. Manhattan Institute and Chris Rufo don't cover the real stuff anymore. They do every once in a while. I'm not saying that like he doesn't put out good stories, because he does. I'm not saying his work is complete shit like I would say of James Lindsay's. James Lindsay's work is shit. It's unhinged from reality. It is not helpful at all. Chris Rufo's still doing things that I think are fundamentally helpful. So I'm not trying to shit on him totally, but I will say there's a lot of stuff that guy doesn't cover, and it kind of seems to me like the only stuff he's covering anymore are specifically designed to advance a very specific political narrative. Which is fine, but can we just be honest about what we're doing here? Can we be honest about that? And again, like, if I can point out dozens and dozens and dozens of people at a bare minimum that they literally spend their entire lives, their entire careers just studying and picking apart the right, to report back to the left, to plot and scheme on how to further indoctrinate and brainwash people. And I can't find anyone fucking else on this side analyzing the left like that except for me. That is a problem. And I like, can I find some rich donor to just fund my work, and then I can train other people how to do this? I mean, maybe that's a pitch I should actually make. Honestly, I just came up with that off the top of my head. Maybe that is a pitch I should actually make, because I know how to train people how to do this. I've trained half my community to do this. It shows up to my streams. They do half the research for me because they do it for fun. Maybe that is a pitch I should find a conservative millionaire to make this to. Not only am I the only person analyzing the left from a hinged into reality, practical perspective to provide actionable intelligence about what's going on, I can train 100 people like me. Fund me to train 100 people like me, and I will fucking do it. I already know who half of them would be. And I already know that if we could pay those people money, they would spend all their time doing this like I spend my time doing this. So if anyone knows a really rich conservative that wants to fund that, can you please send them my way, please? I'm being 100% serious. You know, who knows? I guess you can't win if you never try. You can't, like, I have to shoot my shot, I guess. And this is the way I shoot my shot. I talk onto the internet. And you know what? If the universe is meant to provide, then the universe is going to provide. I've learned that over and over and over again. Anyway. Anyway. Ogre says it's because right-leaning people don't scheme and think that way. Well, then you need to prepare to lose. If you believe that it is above you to be strategic about defeating your enemy, then you are going to lose. Because your enemy, for all their faults, for all their insanity, they're still doing something where you're doing nothing, and something is better than nothing. That's the story of the tortoise and the hare, isn't it? The hare fucked around, and the tortoise just took one step after another, very, very slowly, but consistently showed up every single day. Wasn't the fastest, but what happened? The hare was fucking around. The hare didn't do what the hare was supposed to do. The hare didn't take the tortoise seriously. And then the tortoise kicked the hare's ass because the hare was fucking around and didn't take it seriously. And it is exactly the same thing. Ruben, why am I not on staff at Jordan Peterson Academy? Oh, bro, that's not going to work. First of all, Jordan Peterson is insane. Secondly, I do not support Israel. Like, that's really the crux of the issue, if I'm going to be honest about it. And listen, I don't care if you support Israel. I really don't. I don't care if you support Israel. I don't care if you're Jewish. I'm saying that for me, I will put the interests of America over the interests of Israel, and I do not support what Israel is doing in the Middle East. I think it is barbaric on so many different levels. I'm not going to go out there and protest about it, but that's what I think. And so there is no chance, there is no reality, because I do not support Israel, and I will put the interests of America ahead of Israel every single day of the week. And I will not be silent about that online. It's okay for people to disagree with me. Again, I really do mean this. I'm not going to tell you what to support. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I don't care if you're Jewish. It doesn't really matter to me at all in any way. However, I will not be silent about who I support and who I do not support. We can disagree, but we should be able to disagree as adults. And sadly, Jordan Peterson is playing a political game where if you do not support Israel, he literally will call you a psychopath, which he did the other day on Joe Rogan. I watched it on my channel the other day, yesterday. Seems like a million years ago now. So no, I won't be at Jordan Peterson's Academy. That's never going to happen. And that's quite frankly why you're probably never going to see my work on shows and stuff like that. And people don't like that I'm friends with Nick Fuentes. And again, you can hate Nick Fuentes, and that's fine. You don't have to like him. There are many things I disagree with him on, which I have to say every single time I say his name, which sucks. But that is another reason that you're like they won't cover my stuff or put my stuff out there. It's not because my stuff isn't the best stuff out there, because it is. Um, it's because they don't like who I'm friends with and they want to dictate that, and they don't like my position on Israel. That's the way it goes. I'm just looking at the chat, guys. You know, the only way my stuff is going to get funded, I've said this before, the only way my stuff is going to get funded is if it's funded by you. This is why and you know what? That's actually a good thing, because ultimately I want to be able to study what I want to study. And if some big time conservative donor wants to support that and they're like, Karlyn, I trust your judgment about what is and is not important, and I'm not gonna try to make you bend the knee to whatever my political issue is. I don't mind having conversations, but it's also like, I'm not going to allow myself to be controlled by someone, because I've played that game before and it doesn't work out well. So I'm just looking in the chat. Okay. Anyway, well, that's about all I have to say. I've now taken my break. I've wound down a little bit. I'm going to go edit some video. I'm going to put some stuff up on the Substack. If you were big time, you'd be funding me. Well, I appreciate that. And I hope other people step up and do it. That'd be pretty great. I would really appreciate it. But I have to get ready for tomorrow to do it all over again. And again, guys, please join us for Spy Stream. If you've never been before and you're curious about this stuff and you want to see what it's like to be undercover at an event, because it is a lot like it. It really is. You sit there, you listen to leftist content, you're allowed to laugh and you're allowed to have fun with it, and we have a great chat of people that show up, and we kind of hang out all day and we make conversation, and it's just a very eventful event. So you won't be disappointed in this event. Where can you donate? Terry, the best place to go. So first off, the very best thing people can do is become a monthly or annual member on my Substack. I'm doing a membership drive. I would like to get 400 new paying supporters by the end of the summer. So we have May, June, July, August, till the end of August to do it. But the earlier you sign up, the earlier we hit that goal. If we can hit that goal much earlier than the end of the summer, I would be thrilled about that. So if you're not yet a supporter on my main Substack, which is Karlyn, Karlyn, substack.com. Go ahead and become a monthly or annual supporter on there. If you want to donate more money, you can become a founding member on the Substack, and then you can select an amount that you would like to donate, which of course I also really do appreciate. If you just want to make a one-time gift, you can head over to decodetheleft.com/support, and that will be the option to give you the one-time gift, and there's some other options on there as well. But the Substack is the most important thing. The Substack is what allows me to have a reliable source of income, because I know how much money is coming in every single month or year. And so that helps me do planning. Also, meeting that goal will allow me to have extra resources so I can afford to go undercover at events, which right now is really difficult because it is thousands of dollars to go undercover at an event in person. So that's why I'm doing the online stuff. But if people step up and we get that reserve in place, then I'm going to be able to be in a better position to do that, which would be awesome, because there's always events going on that I want to go undercover at. Always events. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you for supporting my work. If you do, if you haven't signed up yet, hopefully you do today, and come join us for Spy Stream. We got a lot of Spy Streams next week as well. You're gonna get your money's worth out of the next out of this week, next week, the week after, next 3 weeks. You are going to get your membership money's worth. I promise, man. I promise. All right. Well, I'm headed out, but have a good night, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.